back to my channel. Today's video is going to be 5 tips to stay organized and get stuff done. So I have had a few messages, especially on Instagram, about how I stay motivated to get things done and actually how to get things done. And it's not a very easy question to answer because it involves quite a bit of time of just getting yourself into a routine of doing things and into a routine that suits you. And sometimes that can take a while because it's hard to figure out sometimes what actually suits you. And everyone is different when it does come to staying organized and getting your work done. I want to tell you guys a few tips that I feel helped me. I was definitely, going back a few years ago, I was definitely like a class A procrastinator. I would find any reason under the sun basically to not do my work. It would involve pretty much like thinking of cleaning the house all of a sudden, even though I hate cleaning. And just like random things that would pop into your head at the last minute, just before you're about to sit down and do some work where you feel like that could take preference. Now, getting work done is actually really important, obviously, and especially if you are a freelancer working from home. I think in any sort of role that's working from home, it can be difficult to stay organized because you don't necessarily have someone over your shoulder basically saying to you, you need to have this done, you need to get this done. This is kind of where it all started for me with procrastination. I think I got so used to getting into a routine of working from home, but it was a bad routine. And I would tell myself, you know, I'll get things done later. I'll get things done later in the week. I would give myself way too long to work on a project or to work on something for a client. So I think for myself, getting more clients has definitely helped me stay more organized. And I think that does tend to give you more deadlines. And I'm going to talk about those things definitely in this video today and tell you what you kind of need to start doing to help yourself stay organized as a freelancer or someone working from home. So the first thing I'm going to tell you guys about today, one tip that's really helped me stay organized is using planners. Now, I have quite a few planners. I actually have about 4 or 5. You guys can probably think I'm absolutely crazy for doing that, and that's fine. Not everyone has to use 5 planners to get themselves through a work week, but I do have quite a few for different reasons. And the reasons are that I like to look at things, I think, as a whole, and look at the day as a whole, look at the week as a whole, look at the month and year and so on. So I think it's a really good way to start staying organized is by doing these sorts of things, and getting planners and using diaries to help yourself stay organized is definitely an important tip. I'm going to show you guys now what planners I actually use to get myself through a working week and really try and stay organized. So I have 3 in my hand at the moment. I have my daily planner. This is a really great one for looking at your day individually, each day, what you need to do. And it's a really good way to prioritize things. So it's right in front of you to see what really needs to get done first and what can wait until later on. So I definitely like to prioritize my day, usually with a daily planner like this. And I would say my main things that I'd be putting on there would be about planning shoots, editing shoots, and emails, and filming videos. So that's my main things that I like to put on my daily planner. Usually I would put those things on my other planners as well, but the daily planner, I would say, is one of the most important from day to day. If you're really struggling to stay organized on a day-to-day basis, pick yourself up a daily planner and they will definitely help with that. I also think there's something to writing things down as opposed to a digital planner. I do have a digital planner and it is great for reference. It's a really good thing when you're outside of the house and you're not really sure what you're doing on a certain day and someone's asked you a question about a certain date. That's perfect. I love digital planners too, but I do find that writing things down helps me retain the information that I need a little bit more, helps me get in that practice of actually getting things done a bit better. Everyone's different though. You might prefer to use a digital planner alone, and that's totally fine too. My second planner that I have here is a weekly planner, just like this. So you've got every day of the week. It's really good to look at your week overall and also prioritizing things and seeing what needs to be done first, so then you can go to your daily planner and get that done for the first day of the week. And it's just a really good way of looking at your week, I guess, like all the planners are. So really, really good way to help look over the next 7 days and see what you've got to do, see how busy you're going to be. And then my last planner is, of course, a monthly planner. Monthly planners are great for things like, for me, with planning shoots ahead of time and for planning videos as well. I really like to write them down on my monthly planner. This is actually like a little whiteboard, so I can rub it out every month, so I'm not wasting too much paper. but I do really find that these are helpful for things that you're consistently having to plan, and it's good to just keep those dates in mind of when things have to be done by, and yeah, that's a really good planner for that. So obviously, like I said, you don't need all these planners. I just like to stay organized as possible with these in conjunction with my digital planner as well. I also have a yearly planner, and yearly planners are getting to be really important for me because of my trips as well. I need to make sure that I'm getting things done by the time I go overseas at certain points or going on trips to other cities. It just really helps me stay very organized in that manner, and I can kind of look ahead to the year and be like, if I need to plan another work trip or a trip in general, then at least I know my dates, and it's just a bit easily seen like that. I also have a very similar planner to that, which is a financial year planner. That is another matter altogether, and you don't need one of those, although if you are struggling with your finances and wanting to know where you're at with your money, it's a really good way to start planning on when things are due by and what your financial year is going to look like. And that way you don't really have any nasty surprises when it comes to things like website bills or domain registrations or even business name renewals, like things like that you just kind of forget about and you don't always remember when they're due. So a financial year planner is really good for that, although you can also just use a yearly planner for that if you prefer to keep them all in one. So that's all about my planners, and my next tip would be to wake up early. Now I can hear the groans like coming from a really large distance at the moment, and I can hear you all thinking to yourselves like, I just hate waking up early. And honestly, that's me. I wake up early and I don't even like waking up early, but I do it because it actually helps me create a really good routine with my week. And you do feel more accomplished, I think, when you wake up earlier. You know, 7 o'clock in the morning is a really good time, I think, as well. Like, a lot of people will wake up very early, like 5, 6 a.m. That's great too. I personally don't really like waking up before 6 a.m. 6 a.m. is pretty early for me as it is. But around 7 o'clock is really good because you've got quite a few hours of the morning to get things done. And I guess it is good in a sense to get up at that 5, 6 o'clock hour, because you know that a lot of people aren't even awake yet and you're getting things done. And it's actually a really good feeling to know that you're pushing ahead with your work that early in the morning, and who knows, you might get it all done by noon, and then you've got the afternoon to do whatever else you want to do. So it does help create a bit more of a productive day, I find, waking up earlier as opposed to waking up later. And I do have personal experience with this, as I'm not very much a morning person, as a lot of people aren't. And I used to find that I was most creative at night when I was sitting at my computer chair and just mulling away at my ideas for photo shoots and things like that, which is a problem because I always felt that little bit guilty when I was waking up later the next day after spending all night on a computer looking at ideas and things like that, and then you feel like you've wasted half of a day not doing anything or not getting anything done. So I know it's very different for everyone when it comes to this, but I do recommend waking up early because I always find that I get more done if I'm waking up earlier in the day. My third tip is to have a clean workspace. I think this is so important because honestly for me, when I have a messy workspace, I walk in and I see it and I'm just like, no, I can't even be near it. Like it's too much effort, and it honestly clutters your mind almost. It really makes things go fuzzy. You just feel like nothing is organized. And I think that's where procrastination likes to creep in a little bit. I don't know, there's something to it. I've definitely heard from other people that they feel the same way about having a clean workspace, and it definitely helps clear your head in terms of what you need to do. As long as everything's like set out nicely and fairly clean, like it just helps your mindset when it comes to working, and you just feel a little bit more ready to get stuck into it when your workspace is clean and tidy. It's definitely a routine that I've started to pick up on the last few years, and keeping it clean definitely helps clear my head a bit when it comes to getting work done. The number 4 tip is to eliminate distractions. Distractions are the worst. Distractions, unfortunately, basically equals procrastination. So distractions for me definitely include social media to an extent. I do need some social media platforms to be there throughout the day so I can be doing parts of my work. So Instagram is actually very important for that. It's very hard to train yourself though to not be scrolling through feeds, and Facebook's really bad for that too. I do tend to try and keep those parts of my day limited to certain parts of the day. So for Instagram, I will maybe hop on in the morning and I'll maybe hop on in the nighttime. and that's it. I try not to go throughout the day unless I'm corresponding through DMs. I try not to hop on Instagram too much throughout the day because it really does distract me. I get so lost in all the beautiful images, and then I'm saving things, and although that's kind of good, I feel like that has a place and a time, and I try and limit that to maybe twice a day if I can. For things like Facebook, I try not to go on there at all during the day. Like I said, with the exception of correspondence for team members, creative team members, I really do try to not go on Facebook at all unless it's after my designated working hours or beforehand. I try not to get on Facebook in the mornings, especially because I feel like that just makes me lose quite a bit of motivation for the day and gets the procrastination setting in. So unless it's to post something or to reply to a DM, I try not to go on there. Also, emails. Now, emails is a really big distraction. However, I do find that as freelancers, sometimes it's hard to keep that out into like maybe once or twice a day. I do find it hard because sometimes I'll be emailing my agent and I'll need to really respond to her quite quickly. I can't really always just set my email time to, you know, 5 p.m. and 6 p.m. each day or something like that. It doesn't always work for me that way, and there are emails that I need to respond to a little bit more quickly. So I do actually check them regularly throughout the day. I try not to get too caught up in them though. But I do think that's important. It's just creating more of a routine for yourself around social media and those distractions, and making sure that they're not really taking or eating into your work time. They can, especially with social media, because that definitely causes a little bit of procrastination for people. And the last tip I have is to set deadlines. This is a really important tip, I think, because I feel like as freelancers, a lot of the time, we don't always have deadlines. Sure, with certain projects that we're working on for clients, they might hand you a deadline, but a lot of the time that's kind of left up to you. And especially with test shoots with photographers, there's not really any set deadline. And I think this is where sometimes it takes photographers 6 months or so to get back to a creative team with photos because they haven't been organized enough, and that's really not good enough. So setting deadlines is definitely an important thing, and it helps me remind myself that I need to get things done by a certain point. And that's, I think, in the end, the deciding factor of whether I get my work done or not is having that date of when I want things done by. And I think the best way to set yourself those deadlines is to use the planners that I was talking about before, and making sure that you're marking on certain dates when things are due by, because I think, like I said, setting deadlines is definitely the most important part of it all. I think it gets you in a really good mindset for getting things done and knowing when you have to get things done by, and creates a little bit more discipline, I think, for us freelancers and people working from home to really make sure that we are getting our work done on time. So guys, I really hope those 5 tips helped you today. If you have any tips yourself for staying organized and getting your work done, please put them in the comments section below. I would love to hear them. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and let me know what else you would like to see on my channel. I would love to do more of these motivational videos, or more for business side of things and freelancing, I think, because that could potentially help people out there. I know that it's not always easy running your own business, and I know that there's a lot of tips that I could potentially give you guys on how to stay organized. There's definitely more avenues I could go down with that, so let me know if you'd like to see more of that on my channel. So thanks again guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!